right, ladies and gentlemen, Baron here. So what we just saw was probably the Merry Christmas cubed for German pilots everywhere, and honestly, for just all of us in War Thunder, because it really shows to me that Gaijin is able to make complex flight models, complex aircraft. So I would imagine, now that we have the Dornier 335 and it's going to pop out, I mean, we don't have it right now. When it's available, it shows to me that Gaijin is capable within their engine, within their modeling department, whatever, company-wide, that, hey, you know what, we can actually make complex aircraft. Because honestly, I think this one is a long time coming. The Dornier 335 has been on most anyone who's familiar with World War II aircraft, their request list for, I don't know, since I started playing the damn game. But yeah, the Dornier 335 fail. It's got contra-rotating propellers in the front, in the rear of the plane. It is the fastest, piston engine aircraft of the war. And contrary to popular belief, many of these were built. They were built, they were tested, it flew, it was fine. This is not a paper aircraft. I wouldn't even say it's a prototype aircraft. This is an aircraft that worked, guys. But the cool thing about it is it's designed to be a push-pull, right? So, I mean, the whole concept of twin-engine aircraft isn't new to us. We've got it already. We've got the F-7F Tiger Cat. We've got Mosquitoes. You know, they're like Me-410s. There's so many twin-engine aircraft in the game already. But I think what they said is what made this thing so difficult to be built was the fact that the propellers rotate, like there was one in the front and one in the rear, and they rotated opposite ways. So, hey man, I'm not a 3D modeler, I'm not a flight model maker, and maybe I should be a BR maker, but you know, I digress. But right now, like, I cannot be more excited for this aircraft. And what's kind of cool is we're gonna have 3 of them. But what Gaijin says on their dev blog post is it's one of the most unusual and dangerous aircraft, the Dornier 335. And is it fail? Is that how you pronounce it, to all you Germans out there? Tandem-mounted engines. That they're saying because they were tandem-mounted engines, that's why it was such a challenge for them. Makes you wonder how long they've been working on this. But to be perfectly honest, I'm very, very glad it's finally in the game, but I think it should have been in about a year ago. But you never know, man. Like, maybe there wasn't any aircraft that could match it, because this will be the fastest non-jet in the game. So, I mean, it's going to be a very, very powerful aircraft. Yeah, like, the armament, let's see. So there's going to be 3 different modifications. We've got the 335A0 with one 30mm gun and 2 20mm MG 151s, which are kind of like the subcategory of 20 mils. And then we've got, or were those the FFMs? And then we've got the Dornier 335A1, which is kind of the fighter bomber. It's able to carry one 500 kilo bomb in the bomb bay and then 2 250 kilo bombs on external hard points right under the wings. And you can see a picture of that. And then finally, we have a premium version. So we'll be able to grind for 2 of them, and one of them will be able to, you know, for the wallet warriors out there, as you guys have called them, or just big fans who've been waiting for it. The Dornier 335B2 is a premium vehicle with 2 additional 30mm wing-mounted cannons. Now, that thing is going to be an excellent bomber interceptor, I would imagine. Like 3 30mm and 2 20s. Or it makes you wonder if they might get rid of the 20s and it just has 3 30s, you know. Let's see, actually. Yeah, not sure. But, yeah, the Dornier 335 is one of the most advanced prop fighters in history. It will be coming in patch 1.57. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy about that. I don't think I'd be curious to know if anyone is opposed to the introduction of the Dornier 335. I mean, you look at a tech tree like the Germans, and you see for the most part that they are, kind of outclassed eventually at every tier. Well, not every, at the upper tiers, because they're dealing with designs that they were designing at the end of World War II, during World War II, for World War II, right? And they're competing against the British, the Russians, and the Americans, who've got some very, very good and capable after World War II jets. And politically speaking, Germany was split between the communist and capitalist ideals. The country was literally ripped in two. It was not able to produce military equipment. So that's why you have the MiG and the Sabre for the Germans. But I think that this is kind of the cherry on top for what is otherwise a very, very good and well-represented Luftwaffe in War Thunder in terms of the number of planes that we get. Now we finally have, like, what would you call it? What would you call the Dornier 335? Basically the Übermensch of the aircraft, right? Of the German aircraft, of the German prop-driven aircraft. This thing is amazing. It's special. It's unique. It's powerful. It's capable. It's going to make a lot of German pilots very, very happy, and a lot of Allied and Soviet pilots a little queasy when you encounter them. It'll be interesting because I would imagine that this thing is going to kind of flirt the BR border, where it fights the low tier jets as well as the high tier prop planes. I could see this thing fighting against Bearcats, so that would be very interesting to see a very, very good prop American fighter deal with the Dornier 335. But I want to get an idea of where you guys think this would fall as far as the BR. There weren't really any indications in the dev blog post. We'd likely get one in the future. Another interesting thing about the Dornier 335 is its tricycle landing gear, which is very similar to what the Americans were using. When you look at the Cobras and King Cobras and stuff like that, the tricycle landing gear is in the Dornier 335 is a unique design. Not a lot of aircraft use that, and it makes it. You needed it. You need it because there's a prop on the back and a prop on the front. So landing this thing should prove pretty interesting to see how people do it. How many times, because conventionally, that you can kind of dip your tail pretty low. Well, this time you can't without banging up the prop on the back, and you can't go nose heavy too much because A, it's just dangerous and likely to crash, but then you've got a prop on the front. So you're going to have to land this thing very, very carefully. But I'm curious as to the climb rate of this thing. I'm curious how it'll match up against low-tier jets as well as high-tier props, because it will be, I would expect it to be right in that area of BR, and it will fight those kinds of planes. But I mean, if you think about it, there's a Japanese plane, the Tachikawa Ki-94, which had a prop in the front and prop in the back. There might be some American aircraft with forward and rear propellers, but at the time this thing was revolutionary. Very, very, yeah, I mean, come on. I cannot wait to play this. This is a plane that I've been wanting for over 2 years. We just celebrated our 3-year anniversary on February 5th of making YouTube videos and playing War Thunder. And I'd have to say it's been over 2 years that people have been asking for this, that I became aware of this beast and that I want it in the game. And truthfully, I gave up on it. I thought we would never see the Dornier 335 in War Thunder. But you know what? Every now and then, we get a nice little treat like this, and not just another IL-2 or a plane that we just don't need or we don't really want necessarily, but it just is put in there. But now we have something that is, I think, is also a draw to the game. Think how many World War II historians out there, armchair generals, armchair pilots, people that are just aficionados, fans, and amateur historians of World War II, and maybe, World War II planes, and just aerospace engineering in general, this is something that will draw people to the game. It's kind of like what I thought the mouse would be, and arguably was when it was introduced, is something that was unique. It's a unique piece of history that we get and that we are then able to see in the game for the first time. Like, I think there was a few other games that had the Dornier 335 in them, but they never really had as much of a following, as big of a player base as War Thunder does. I would argue that War Thunder is pretty much the biggest World War II flight game in existence, right? Would you think that would be a fair statement to make, that the Dornier 335 would be kind of a really big lure to arguably the biggest, World War II flight game that's out there right now and maybe ever? Because tanks are kind of like second place to planes in War Thunder. Like, War Thunder planes it plays so well when you don't have to deal with like the accessory details like battle ratings and balance and stuff, but the planes fly well. The game is beautiful, right? We just got to constantly figure out and constantly adapt. Because think about this, like, that's what's crazy, man, is when you put a Dornier 335, there's some planes that might need to be adjusted as far as BR, because this thing is a game changer at the high tier props, and probably like, I would guess what, tier 4. It definitely doesn't deserve tier 5. And we've got 3 different models, but largely one's a fighter bomber, one's a fighter, and then there's the premium kind of what I would say destroyer with its 330 millimeter main guns. Look at that. You can tell I'm very much a tanker at times. But yeah, it's 330 millimeter primary weapons right there. Wing-mounted cannons and what would be gondolas underneath, more than likely. It's a very special aircraft. Please recognize the magnitude of this addition into the game. I really, and that brings up my key question for this episode is, ladies and gentlemen, what aircraft, now that we have the Dornier 335, what special aircraft, or just what aircraft in general, do you think Gaijin needs to add to War Thunder? What do you want them to add? Like, what is that one aircraft, jet, prop, otherwise, that you would love to play in War Thunder? What would it be? Because for me, this one was the cream of the crop for the longest time. I'm so excited it's in the game. I really am. This is beautiful. So I thank y'all so much for watching. Let me know, which plane you'd like to see in War Thunder. If someone leaves a comment on the same one, like it, because I want to get a really good feeling of where our player base stands as to what we want. Because I'm kind of going to use this position that you guys have granted to me. And, maybe do my best to push Gaijin and be like, realistically, you need to add this, because that's the fortunate thing about having a sizable community that we have right now is, I'm starting to realize that, like, as there's all this uproar lately. See, that's another thing. A lot of people have been asking me, hey, Baron, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? A lot of people have been upset about this. A lot of people are upset about that. Truthfully, I don't vent to you guys. I don't think that's what my content should be about. I try to entertain and to a somewhat lesser extent inform, right? So this would be a more informative video, but I've been so excited about this I'm so excited about it. I had to make a video on it, and I've been doing these hype videos about devlog postings for over a year now. Similar to how like patch coverings, this is something that I would say that I kind of started, and I'm passionate about it. I love this stuff. I love to talk about it. It makes my imagination go wild about a game that I love. And you know what? Sometimes it's like a very close girlfriend or wife. There's a love-hate relationship at times. Sometimes you're very frustrated with her. But yeah, I'm not gonna go to you guys and be like, yeah, So I'm really mad at my girlfriend about this, X, Y, and Z. You know, you'd be like, hey, what do you think? I'm like, you know what? We're working through it. We're figuring it out, right? But it's a little bit different. That could be fallacy of analogy, right? Because truthfully, you know, I guess I have an opportunity to influence in some small way, and I'm going to begin to start using that influence. So that's why I'm curious what planes you guys want, you know, what issues you guys have, and I'm going to do my best to relay them to Moscow, right? Because I'm over here in Florida in the United States, and there's this company that I've made over 1,000 videos on their game because A, I like it, you know, and until probably recently, they didn't even know who the hell I was. But you know what? Now that they do, and I've got a few emails I can pester, I'm gonna be like, yo, we want this. Yo, we want this. So let me know what you want, and I'm gonna do my best to relay it. And maybe they'll listen to me. Who knows, right? It's worth a try. Just like it's worth making the Dornier 335 and putting in War Thunder. We need that shit. Guess what? We get it. Happy Christmas, German pilots. Happy Christmas, War Thunder community. I think this will be a very, very good addition. But you know what? Time will tell. We'll see. There's still a possibility that there's a BR issue with it, but I would imagine that if they've taken this long to get this plane, they're going to do it right. One can only hope. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Please, 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 below, let me know which plane, you know what? Yeah, which plane and which tank you want to see in War Thunder the most. And you know, as a result of this, Men of War Mondays will probably be postponed to Tuesday. Ladies and gentlemen, it will be my biggest Men of War Monday. In more ways than one. Tomorrow. You guys are going to love it. It's going to be great. I've been working on this special tank for quite a while. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.